Have you ever wondered about the legendary samurai of Japan? Those iconic warriors in ornate armor, wielding razor-sharp katanas. Well, their story is far more complex and fascinating than just what we see in movies. Let's dive into the incredible history of the samurai. The word samurai itself gives us a huge clue. It means one who serves. This idea of service is the cornerstone of their entire existence. Their journey begins way back in the Heian period, from 794 to 1185. At this time, Japan's central government was losing its grip on the provinces. Wealthy nobles and landowners in the countryside needed protection for their estates. So, they hired skilled warriors, forming private armies. These early fighters were the proto-samurai, the first ones to live by the sword in service to a lord. They were essentially highly trained bodyguards and private security, but they laid the foundation for something much grander. Everything changed with the Kamakura period, starting in 1185. After a major civil war, the Minamoto clan, led by Minamoto no Yoritomo, established the first shogunate military government. This was a massive power shift. For the first time, military leaders, the shogun, held the real power in Japan, not the emperor. The samurai were no longer just hired muscle. They became the ruling class, the backbone of this new military-led society. They were now the police, the soldiers, and the administrators all rolled into one. This is when the samurai truly rose to prominence, their status cemented in the very structure of Japanese society. With this new power and responsibility came a strict code of conduct. Bushido, or the way of the warrior. Bushido wasn't a single written book, but rather a set of principles that evolved over centuries. At its heart were virtues like unwavering loyalty to one's master, impeccable honor in all things, unshakable courage in the face of death, and relentless self-discipline. A samurai's honor was more valuable than his own life. To lose it was to lose everything. This code guided their every action, both on and off the battlefield. And it's what separates the samurai from being mere mercenaries. They fought for something greater than money. They fought for their lord, their clan, and their honor. The ultimate test of the samurai came during the Sengoku period, the Warring States era, from 1467 to 1600. This was over a century of near-constant civil war. The central government completely collapsed, and powerful regional lords, daimyo, fought each other for control of Japan. The entire country was a battlefield, and the samurai were at the very center of the storm. This period forged some of history's most legendary warriors, like Oda Nobunaga, Toyotomi Hideyoshi, and Tokugawa Ieyasu. Battles were brutal and frequent. Samurai honed their skills in archery, horseback riding, and, of course, swordsmanship. The iconic katana became their soul. This was the age of legends, where loyalty was tested and heroes were made. After more than 100 years of chaos, one man finally brought the wars to an end. Tokugawa, in 1603, after his victory at the Battle of Sekigahara, he established the Tokugawa shogunate. This ushered in a period of unprecedented peace and stability that would last for over 250 years. But what does a warrior do when there are no more wars to fight? This is where the samurai had to adapt or perish. The long peace, known as the Edo period, presented a unique challenge. With no battles to wage, the samurai couldn't just sit around polishing their swords. Their role in society had to evolve. Many transitioned from being warriors to becoming bureaucrats, administrators, teachers, and scholars. They managed the domains of their daimyo lords, enforced laws, and became the educated elite, while they still trained in martial arts and held their status as the warrior class. Their day-to-day lives became much more peaceful and intellectual. They studied literature, philosophy, and art. The samurai became the guardians of culture, not just territory. This transformation shows their incredible adaptability. They proved they were more than just fighters. They were the very framework of Edo period society. But all eras must come to an end. By the mid-19th century, Japan was facing immense pressure from Western powers to open its borders. This external threat, combined with internal political tensions, led to the fall of the Tokugawa shogunate. In 1868, The Meiji Restoration returned power to the emperor. The new government was determined to modernize Japan as quickly as possible to compete with the West. A key part of this plan was creating a modern, Western-style, conscript army, made up of soldiers from all social classes. This was the death knell for the samurai class. Their exclusive right to bear arms was abolished, their stipends were cut, and their special status was eliminated. The age of the warrior was officially over. For many samurai, this was a devastating blow. They had lost their purpose, their livelihood, and their identity, all in the name of progress. Imagine being told that everything your family has stood for over 700 years is now obsolete. This dramatic change didn't happen without resistance. Many samurai felt betrayed. The most famous and final samurai uprising was the Satsuma Rebellion in 1877, led by a man often called the last true samurai, Saiki Takamori. He had been a key figure in the Meiji Restoration but grew disillusioned with the new government's policies towards his fellow samurai. He led a force of traditional samurai warriors against the new Imperial Japanese army. It was a tragic, heroic last stand. The samurai, with their swords and traditional tactics, were ultimately defeated by the modern army's rifles and cannons. The rebellion's failure marked the definitive end of the samurai as a military force. So, are the samurai gone? Well, yes and no. The class itself was abolished, but their legacy is woven into the very fabric of modern Japan. The Bushido Code's emphasis on discipline, honor, and perseverance can still be seen in Japanese business, education, and sports. Martial arts like kendo, judo, and kudo trace their roots directly back to samurai training. The stories of their loyalty and sacrifice continue to inspire people, not just in Japan, but all over the world. The samurai may have laid down their swords, but their spirit, the spirit of one who serves, endures forever. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey through the history of the samurai. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about history's most fascinating stories, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out. Let us know in the comments what topic you'd like to see next. Until then, stay curious.